IG, Facebook. What's going on? Getting ready for FICO Friday. Give everybody a few minutes to hop on. It's one of my favorite days of the week. Every day feel like Friday. See who we got in here. See Philly, what's going on? So today, FICO Friday. King, what's going on? King Justice. Peace, 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 peace. All right, family. So got the multiple cameras going, so you know I'm gonna be all over the place. Good evening, Smiley031. Can't hear me. I'm not sure if it's on your end, family. So today is September 13th, Friday the 13th, 2019. Man, hope nothing crazy or spooky happened to anybody out here. Friday the 13th, you know, people get weirded out over that. But yes, today is FICO Friday. We will be talking about Easy Funding 101. It really is just kind of a spinoff from last week's FICO Friday, where I talked about business etiquette. And the reason I want to talk about easy funding is because I get so many people that reach out and have a ton of questions about how do I start my business? How do I get some money to start my, marijuana dispensary? How do I get some money to start my food truck? How do I get some money to do whatever? And I'm telling people it's really that simple. It's really simple. Easy funding, and so, but the reason easy funding is so important is the processes that you get. It's the monthly mentorship that you get. You get a monthly mentorship call with me every single month with Easy Funding. We're going to guide you through the steps and give you all of the ammunition you're going to need in order to be able to successfully go through the process of positioning your company. The reason this is so important is because the lack of information or the lack of knowledge that we have when it comes to dealing with these banks, I'm telling you, it really can separate you from being in position of getting no approvals from the bank, getting minimal approvals, or really maximizing your approval potential. And just now, and the reason I say that is, so I'm dealing with this one particular bank, not going to call any names out, where I've recently applied for a new business line of credit. Okay. And so went through all of the things. Now, this particular bank does what's called stated income, which means you can state your income on the application. They don't pull a 4506. For those who do not know what a 4506, that's when a bank will go and actually reach out to the IRS to verify your tax returns. Meaning, if your tax returns are not legit, the bank that pulls a 4506, they can see that information. They're going to automatically flag your application and deny it. And so this bank did ask for tax returns. So I submitted my tax returns to the bank. We get on the phone. They're going through their protocol and asking me questions. Now, I talked a little bit about this on the call on the FICO Friday last week about business etiquette and when dealing with banks and what to say, how to say it. And so the reason it's important for us to know this is because I just got a call yesterday from a client who didn't hop on the FICO Friday, which I told him to. Got a call from one of my bankers and he froze up and potentially could have lost out on his approval. Luckily, we know the underwriter, so we was able to have that banker give him another call. See, again, what you don't know can hurt you. So he didn't know how to answer the questions. Now, I'm going to put y'all up on some game. Whenever the bank asks, what is the purpose for the funds? If you're a real estate investor, do not say, I'm trying to flip a house. Really quick way to deny your application. I always like to call it the below the radar response is, I need operation capital. Okay. I need operational capital. Or if you're a company that purchases inventory, look, we're trying to purchase inventory. Always keep it very generic, because what business does not need more capital to successfully run? What business that needs inventory does not need more inventory? So you always keep it to a very generic post to let that underwriter, because all they're doing is filling out the application. Some of these underwriters, I should say, know nothing about credit. know nothing about the process. They're just reading the script, submitting the formulas that they have to submit to the powers that be, and then they get a decision. Now, the reason I'm sharing this story is I'm going back and forth with this underwriter. He's going through everything that he had to, ask me. And when it came down to going over the financials, I'm going over the financials, and then he said, you know what, in order to process this application and for us to give you the final approval, I'm going to need you to send over your business and personal bank statements. Personal and business bank statements. Now, mind you, this is for a business line of credit. So I immediately asked the banker, I said, okay, what is the threshold when I need to provide full doc? That means all banks have a threshold of whatever, which means that they have a certain approval where you don't have to show any docs or little to no docs. Meaning their threshold was $250,000. And what that means is that anything over $250,000, I had to give them full documentation. I had to disclose everything. Blood samples, hair strands, all that stuff. The bank want everything. But he said, you know what, anything 100,000 and below, it's little to no docs. So I said, okay, I submitted my application for 100,000. Why are you asking me for bank statements for my personal and business for a business line of credit? And so the banker is going back and forth with me. He said, that's our job, because we need to be able to find out if how we're going to be able to recoup, because we're giving you an unsecured line of credit. Unsecured means that you're not putting up any collateral, you're not collateralizing the business, etc., none of that. And I said, sir, trust me, I get that. I have multiple companies with business lines of credit already. But more importantly, because he pulled my business credit report and he saw on the company where I was applying for the business line of credit that my utilization on my current business lines of credit was less than 10%. And so I said, you see my tax returns, my income comes 100% from my business, which means I am not a W-2 employee of my company. My income is dispersed through a K-1, which means I get paid through the company. And so why are you asking me for personal bank statements for personal bank accounts? This is a business line of credit. My debt is on my personal credit is less than 2%, and on my business it's less than 10%. Why are you asking me for business and personal bank statements? So we're going back and forth a couple things, and I'm challenging him. And so by the time we got ready to disconnect the call, because he saw I was not wavering on requesting my personal bank statements. And I told him, I said, look, I will send you my business bank statements. I am not sending you my personal bank statements, because I am applying for a business line of credit, which it's primarily focused on my personal credit, my business credit report, and my business income, which you guys have verification of my tax returns, which I did submit to you guys. And we just went over all of my financials. And so after about 5 minutes of going back and forth, I said, you know what, go and speak to whoever you got to speak to. I am not submitting my personal bank statement. I'm only going to submit my business bank statements. So a few minutes later, he came back and he said, you know what, sir, just send over the business bank statements. That will suffice. And we'll go ahead and get you an approval within the next, 72 hours, whatever the time frame was. And so now I want to share this. I wanted to share this story is because, see, when we're dealing with these institutions and we're dealing with these individuals at these institutions, it's all about posture. But you can't have the proper posture if you don't have the proper information. This is why programs like Easy Funding is extremely important, is because these are the things that you're going to learn. So now, it's so often I get people that come to us and say, you know what, I could have did exactly what you guys did for me at Easy Funding. And I'm like, you're 100% right. You could have. But what do you do when the banker is asking you for something that he's not supposed to ask for? Then how do you handle that? What do you do when the banker is asking you for full doc on a no to low doc unsecured loan? What do you do when the banker is asking you for full doc when it's stated income? And so just understanding that you need to be properly armed, you need to be properly positioned, and you got to be extremely confident when you're dealing with these individuals, because a lot of these people at these institutions know little to nothing. See, anybody who's in our program, you have an unfair advantage in the marketplace when dealing with these these bankers, when dealing with these general managers, when dealing with these bank presidents, you'd be surprised some of the bank presidents know nothing or very little about their products. See, we are at a disadvantage when we don't have access to the information. This is why we're in last place, because we have to invest in ourselves. And I'm not even saying here. Of course, I will want everybody on here to invest into our program. But if you're not investing in yourself, investing in knowledge, but then you're going out here to fend for yourself amongst a world full of sharks. You know, when it comes to dealing with these banks, you're dealing with sharks. And so I just wanted to share my experience because, yes, I still go through these things as well. But it's because of the 15 plus years of educating myself and dealing with banks, and 15 years of rejection that I've gotten in the past from dealing with banks. I know how to posture up and request and demand what I know they cannot ask me for on a low to no doc, unsecured line of credit. And so for those who don't know, unsecured means no collateral. I'm not collateralizing my company. I'm not collateralizing anything personal. So why are you asking me for my personal information? Why are you, asking me for my personal bank statements? This has nothing to do with my personal. It's strictly business. And you've already validated that. You pulled my business credit reports. You pulled my my personal credit reports. And also understanding why having a dent business credit profile is important. And when I go back and talk about, your paydex score and people investing all this money trying to get an 80 paydex, that bank didn't even care about the paydex score. They went and pulled my Experian business report. And for those who don't know, we do offer business credit trade lines, which stays on your business report forever. So it's not like a personal credit trade line. So why is easy funding so important? Or why do we believe in it? And why should you be involved in our easy funding program? For one, it's going to give you options. See, in business and life, having options is always going to be something that we want to have access to, especially if you ever aspire to being an entrepreneur, you want to be a business, you want to start a business, and we got to stop mortgaging our legacy. So often I speak to so many people who are looking for investors to invest in a company. And the first thing I tell them, no investor is not going to invest in your business because it's not investable yet. If your company hasn't made any money, why would I put any money up in your company? You know how many people get pitched business ideas that 90% of them never go anywhere? And so you want to position yourself, because if I did put some money up, I'm going to want a lion's share of the money of the profits because I'm taking the largest risk. And so with that being said, why not invest in yourself, put yourself in position, get access to the capital? So let's just take, for example, when it comes to dealing with real estate. If you're a real estate investor and you're not in easy funding, you're doing more harm to yourself than anything, because there's very few avenues for you to be able to go out there and get access to capital as a real estate investor. Now, granted, because people come to me all the time and say, well, what's the difference between hard money and using easy funding? Well, even if you go with a hard money lender, guess what? You got to have money to get financed through the hard money lender, because you still got to have proof of funds. You still got to have your down payment. You got to have your closing costs and all the other junk fees. And so, yes, I do believe in using hard money lenders because it's less red tape and they usually can close the deal quickly. But you still got to have capital. You have some skin in the game. See, nobody is going to want to do business with you if you have zero skin in the game, no matter what your business ideal is. Trust me, there's a billion different, business opportunities out there. But if you don't have skin in the game, no investor is going to want to invest in you. So like I tell people, my goal for 2020 is I'm going to invest in more businesses that are already running and up and operational. So anybody who has some great business ideas, send them over. We'll be evaluating them. And for 2020, I want to invest in businesses. But your business has to be investable, meaning you got to have some skin in the game. First thing I'm going to request is, what does your credit look like? If your credit looks like trash, I'm not going to invest in your business, because you should be doing the things to position yourself, because you're going to eventually need some more capital to run your business. Because the biggest thing that a company needs is to have capital, or having access to capital. And again, what easy funding does is it gives you the ability to always have access to capital. I always tell people, easy funding your business is not an overnight process. It is a process. My parent company is 6 years old, and I'm still getting capital for my parent company Of course, I have my subsidiary companies, which I'm also getting capital on, but why not put myself in the best position to get access to as much capital as possible? So let's unpack, easy funding for those who do not know what it is. Now, essentially, it is just a program and an opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses to get access to capital for your company by leveraging your personal credit along with your business credit and your business profile. Yes, and I always use the word access to capital. I don't like to use the word business credit or different things like that, because having access to capital is more than just getting business credit cards. Plus, there's companies who sell business credit programs where all they're helping you do is get a bunch of gas cards. This isn't one of those programs. Getting a $5,000 gas card does nothing for you unless you're an over-the-road truck driver and you want to be able to purchase fuel for your trucks, or if you have a fleet of vehicles or whatever the case is. One of my businesses is I rent out my vehicle. So yeah, having a gas card is beneficial for me because I can expense the gas that I use for the vehicles that I rent out. And so in that case, that would be beneficial for someone who is in that space. But business, I like to use the word business capital because a business capital can come in the form of personal credit cards. If you have a brand new company that's 1 month old, why would a bank give your business $500,000 in capital? Why would the bank give you $50,000 in just business credit without your social security number? So again, we have to start understanding these strategies. And so my first wave of capital for my company, I got approved for $47,000 of personal credit cards. Best investment I made because it allowed me to be able to scale my company quicker. And this is why. So I needed to be able to pay for operation costs like my marketing, my website, accounting. I had to pay my bookkeeping. For those who are in business, you need to have a bookkeeper. We got to stop trying to cut corners and doing all the free stuff. We got to start investing in our business, okay? And so because I didn't want to pull money out of my personal bank account, because I had went down that road of using my own personal capital before when I invested in my tax franchise. And when that business went bust, I lost all that money. And so now I say, you know what? I'm going to leverage my credit and be able to just make monthly payments on any monies that I have to disperse for any contract services. So now, instead of coming out of pocket for a $5,000 marketing budget, I now can pay $5,000 on a credit card and pay back on that credit card, $60 a month, or over the term of however long it takes me to pay that back. So again, it just gives me a little bit more flexibility with my own personal liquid capital. Because keep in mind, when we're trying to bootstrap our business and we're using our own personal capital, our money in our bank account to fund our business, remember, that's money you still have to live off of. That's money you still have to pay expenses with. Why not position yourself to be able to get credit cards? And who cares if they're personal or business? Now, granted, yes, the utilization when it comes to the personal cards and even the business cards play a role, but that's because you don't have the proper strategies. That's why we worried about the wrong thing. I don't care what the interest rate is on a card because it's still the cheapest money. And I always tell people, tell me where you can go as a business and get money cheaper than on a credit card or a line of credit. You can't. Now, as we talked about, there are companies where you can go after like Cabbage and Fundbox and MCA loans where they take your account receivables, but then you're paying as much as, and I challenge anybody to go and look at what the interest rate is on a company like Cabbage. It's high. It goes as high as 500%. And so, which is why most businesses who take out those short-term loans are bankrupt within 12 months. Now, don't get me wrong. There is a place and time for that to be used, but that's only if you have a way to service that debt when you're going to be borrowing that money on a short-term basis. So if I was trying to do a quick flip and I needed 30, 40, 50,000 and I know I'm only going to hold that money for, let's say, 120 days, yeah, it may be beneficial, but then I'm going to have to factor in my carrying costs. See, when people borrow money at those high limits and those high interest rates, Cabbage making that cabbage for real. When you're borrowing money at those high interest rates, a lot of times people forget to factor in the cost is going to cost them to service the debt. And for those who don't know what it means to service the debt, that means you still have to make that payment back every single month. And so I'd rather be able to pay back 15% versus 100 they're paying back 150% or 550%. Because when you're taking out those loans like Cabbage and Fundbox, that's what the interest rate amount typically is. Go and do your research. You know, I had a client who borrowed about $30,000 on 12 months. Monthly payments was $3,500 a month. What do you do when you don't profit over that dollar amount that you borrowed to be able to service that debt? And so, yeah, it sounds good because they say no credit score and we find where you're mortgaging your future, you're mortgaging your business. And so I believe in taking the path of least resistance. Put yourself in position, fix your credit. So our easy funding program, very minimal qualifications. And anybody who is not in our easy funding program, I want you to go and sign up today so we can now put you in position to go out there and fund your business. Or as I say, become the architect of your destiny. Okay. So now all you need is a minimum 680 credit score. Now, a 680 is not the end-all be-all. That's just one of the prerequisites that you need to be in position. Minimum 680 credit score. No collections or late payments. And guess what? If you do have those things, go through credit repair. We're a one-stop shop. We can help you get your credit fixed. And because we know what the qualifications are from a credit standpoint, we're going to help you to fix your credit to be in position for you to eventually be in position to go and get some capital. Now, is it going to be an overnight process to fix your credit? Not everybody. And so don't come to us and thinking you can have bad credit for 40 years and think you're going to be in position in 30 days. Life doesn't work that way. And trust me, if those type of processes were available, trust me, it'd be more than $750. We're talking about $7,500 because then there is value there. See, again, we got to start understanding the power of value. I will pay for value. Why do people buy luxury vehicles? Supposedly the value. Why do people buy high-end sneakers or whatever the case is? They're paying for the value or the quality. And so understanding that. No public records. So if you do have a bankruptcy, bankruptcies can be disputed off of a credit report. If you've been following us, you can see that we have posted results of people who have gotten their bankruptcies deleted off their credit report. No late payments. Now, if you have late payments on open accounts, those things that you're going to have to let age off. Late payments on open accounts, especially if you have multiple lates on an open account, those generally have the lowest rate of success of being removed. But it's not the end of the world. We have to stop letting one door slam in our face and we give up on everything. Find a credit partner. You know, just like I talked about when I was on a call with the banker, someone who may not have been as agile and versed and knowing how to talk with that underwriter could have taken that and saying, you know what, this bank is tripping or whatever. No, you just have to find another strategy, another solution. So if you got a bunch of late payments on your credit report on open accounts, find out who in your circle could be a potential credit partner. And if nobody in your circle could be a potential credit partner or don't want to be a credit partner with you, you may want to find a new circle. I'm just being honest. And so, again, minimum 680 credit score, no public records. And if you have them, we can dispute them. No collection accounts or charge-offs. And guess what? If you have them, we could dispute them. No late payments. No, you got to have a minimum of $3,000 to $5,000 of revolving credit. If you don't have that, guess what? We can help you. Your age of file needs to be at least 5 years or older. Guess what? If you don't have that age of file, we can assist you. That's why we offer our trade lines. This is why we only sell our trade lines to our clients. We want to be able to make sure our clients can be in the best position. And then, of course, your credit inquiries need to be at 3 or less per credit bureau. And guess what? If you have an 800 but you got 40 inquiries, you will get denied. But again, we dispute credit inquiries. And so stop letting your circumstances be the reason you can't succeed in life, because we tend to do that a lot of times in life. We'll go out and we have one little bitty obstacle and we think it can't happen for us, or we think it's a scam, or you get mad and this, that, and the third. Child support can also be disputed. Now, if you're in arrears, it potentially could come back on. And so just understand that that's something that you have to be, aware of. But if that's the case, it's not the end of the world, because while it's off, you go through our funding process. I mean, we've had people who have had child support. That was the only thing left on their credit. As soon as it came off, we went and did what we had to do. It may have came back on a few months later, but guess what? They got some capital. They could come back and get it disputed again and go back out there. Secondly, child support usually does not report on all three credit bureaus. So let's say it's only on TransUnion. Guess what? TransUnion is the least used credit bureau by most bank standards. We only go and focus on banks that are pulling Experian and Equifax. So again, but you won't know these strategies if you're not involved in our programs. And so we have to stop being, we have to stop being where we're like, you know what? It costs for me to go through that. Absolutely it does. We pay for things that bring a zero return on our investment anyway. And so I'd rather put my money in a vehicle that's going to give me an opportunity to get positioned. And so even if easy funding cost me $5,000, I would have found the way to make the $5,000. I would have went and Ubered. I would have went and worked at Burger King. I would have been stocking up on Popeye's chicken sandwiches, selling them on eBay if I would have had to, and just saved my money. Because see, we use our circumstances as a reason why we can't do something. And so again, going through the funding process was the best thing for my business. Back in 2013, again, I had just lost over $60,000 investing in the tax franchise, liquidated my 401k. I was out of money, was depressed, had to go back into the job force and everything. And so, but then I understood that, and I started reading about the power of leveraging credit. There's a documentary for those who are on, who have Netflix. There's a documentary about Trump and how he mastered the game of leverage. And again, this is what I tell people. Wealthy people have mastered the game of leveraging their credit. We have to master the game of leveraging our credit because, again, I don't have a rich Uncle Phil from Beverly Hills. I wasn't born with the last name of Hilton or Rockefeller or whatever. So, but I understood that I can leverage the power of credit. Credit is one of the most powerful commodities that we have access to. I'm not sure the name of the documentary, but if you go to Netflix, you will see Trump's face on there. Trey, what up, man? What's going on, fam? And so, yeah, understanding about leveraging our credit. And even if it took you 2 years to get your credit fixed, so what? I mean, how long would it take you to save $100,000 right now? But by going through the easy funding process, and if you just work 12 months, let's say your credit is in position and you work 12 months with our team, I promise you, and if you did what you're supposed to do, it's very rarely that we have not gotten somebody over a minimum $100,000 in capital. I don't care how old their business is. And so understand, I have clients who've been working with me and who's renewed their easy funding program multiple times, have come back and signed up multiple companies, and we've gotten multiple of their companies funded. So imagine taking one of my clients out in Long Island, New York, who owns 4 barber schools, signed up all 4 of her companies with easy funding. We take her to one bank and she got $75,000 per company from that one bank. And we're now taking them to another 3 banks right now because we have to clean up some inquiries that they also previously had from some other things that they were doing. Or taking somebody like one of our clients who didn't even have a job. Imagine how powerful it is. You don't even have a job, but you have aspirations of being an entrepreneur. Basically use the credit card to pay for our easy funding. So when people say, oh, I don't have it, this, that, and the third, we got to get rid of excuses. Because I promise you, this is one thing I know. If I had a suitcase full of sneakers, a suitcase full of purses, and I said it was $1,500, people would find the $1,500. So again, we have to stop using our circumstances. And I tell people, you can't afford not to be involved in easy funding. You can't afford not to fix your credit. You know what I'm saying? And so we had a client who lost his job in the middle of the funding process. But because the banks the banks let you state your income. The banks let you use household income. The banks let you use projected and stated business income. We were still able to help him get over $160,000 in capital. This man bought a property, an investment property, and didn't even have a job. So I always tell people, what excuse do any of us have if that king was able to go through there and go through that process? So understanding, we just have to put ourselves in position, and I want to see who's willing to accept the challenge. Who is willing to accept the challenge to grow their business? Who's willing to accept the challenge to build their family legacy? Who's willing to accept the challenge to build a fortune for their children's future? Absolutely. No excuses. Always say you can make money or you can make excuses, but you can't do both. And so when people come to me and they have excuses, I ask them, what does your credit look like? Have you signed up for our easy funding? And if you say no to either one of those, we don't have anything else to talk about. So after this live, if I get a DM saying, hey, can you help me, but you haven't looked at your credit or this, that, and the third, then it's nothing for us to talk about. We have to put ourselves in position. Nobody's going to come out here and help us. Now, nobody's giving us handouts. Now, I want to give everybody on here a hand up. I want to help everybody. I want to help as many people as I can, but I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. Okay? I need you guys to level up. We can all level up together. I'm telling you, the bank's giving the money away right now. You know, one of my clients and mentor, Beyond, for those who know Beyond Win, we done sent about 5 of his companies through him. Every last one of his companies has probably gotten over $250,000 over the past 3 years that we've been working with them. Think about that. Over $250,000 between 5 companies. That's $250,000 each company we've gotten them over the past 3 years. So imagine where you could be in the next 12 months by just following the blueprint. Imagine where you can be. Imagine where your family could be. Imagine what your financial situation can look like in the next 24 months. No matter what your situation is right now. You know, you work in a job that you may not necessarily like. That's okay. Let's start focusing on building your legacy. Use your job to position yourself, but then let's start using your business to position your legacy, to build your legacy. You know, and like I tell people, it's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5. Because having a 9-to-5 taught me a lot of the intangible things that I needed to run a successful business. A lot of the things I learned what not to do by watching the people who were my bosses at the time, had no leadership skills. So I said, you know what, when I get my business, I'm going to make sure that I'm a great leader. You know, I learned, I want to make sure my customer service on point. You know, I want to make sure that, we do all our processes and procedures and all that stuff. But the money will never be an issue. So again, family, money should never, ever be the issue. It's way too easy. Only reason we don't have access to it is because of the lack of information that we don't have. But we can only get the information if we put ourselves in position to get the information. And yes, you do have to invest in yourself. We must invest in ourselves. You have to. It's imperative. Right now, it's life or death. And that's how I look at it. I get up every single day as if, you know what, today potentially could be my last day. I'm going to go out here and live this shit to the fullest. That's how we need to be thinking every single day, family. All right. So again, I'm going to challenge everybody to go to our website, useeasyfunding.com. And I will put that in the chat. King Justice, if you're on here, put it in pin it up for me too, King. Useeasyfunding.com. And I'm going to pin that. I don't know how to do the pin and stuff. Yo, I'm so social media illiterate, y'all. I don't know how to do that. All right, we'll figure that out later. All right. So one lovely lady, 17, she said challenge accepted. I like that. I'm challenging everybody. What are you doing for your future? What do you do when your children look you in the face and ask, how do we do this? How can we afford that? What sacrifices are you willing to make? I put a video up yesterday and saying a lot of us aren't where we are because we don't want to sacrifice. We don't want to sacrifice watching the games on Sunday. We don't want to sacrifice a Christmas. That's why some of us probably can't afford easy funding because we too busy buying birthday gifts and celebrating fake holidays. I'm from the Midwest and they had a fake holiday called Sweetheart Day. I was like, that is the most, the most fakest random thing I ever heard. But I see people out there spending thousands of dollars on things. And I'm like, do you know what that can do? There's businesses that you can start for $1,000 or less, a marketing business and all these other things. And so, we just gotta, we gotta accept the challenge. And I'm willing to rock with anybody who is willing to take on that challenge with me. And I want to see everybody win. You know, I have 3 banks right now that probably in 100% of the demographic that every last one of you guys are in that will approve you anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 of a business line of credit as long as your company is 2 years old without showing any documentation or proof of income. Who wants to get approved for those particular banks? Who wants to get approved for a bank right now that can give you a $50,000 line of credit as long as your business is 2 years old without your company ever making a dime? Who wants to accept that challenge? Clarence Williams, yeah, Swedish Day, boy. You talking about a scam. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go ahead and take some questions for anybody. I want to sign up for RVC Easy Funding, but should I wait? No, don't wait. What are you waiting for? You need to sign up today. Sign up today. Sign up today. Today. Anybody who signs up for Easy Funding in the next 24 hours, I will do a free 15-minute game plan call. All right. Anybody who signs up for Easy Funding in the next 24 hours, get a free game plan call. No, we don't dispute check systems. Check systems are not on the credit reports. It's 680 mortgage score, or I'm not sure I'm understanding that. Bought the book today. Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm in the credit repair industry now. How can I start Easy Funding? Just sign up for Easy Funding. Go to useeasyfunding.com. If you're in the credit repair business, you need to know how to properly code your business so that way use Easy Funding. If you're in a high risk industry, we show you strategies around that when dealing with the banks. You know, if you're not a 680 yet, do you still sign up? Yes. If you're not a 680, you still want to sign up because you're going to learn what you need to be able to do to get positioned to get approved. You know, I have people who've been working on their credit for the past 19 months, but they would have never known what they had to do to get positioned if they hadn't started up. What can you do to avoid garnishment? It depends on the type of garnishment. And if it's a lot of money, you possibly want to speak with an attorney. How can I increase my credit? Depends what your credit score look like. If your score is not 680, do you still sign up? Yes. Can I get funding with a brand new real estate company? Yes. Every single property that my team and I have purchased, we've never used a dime of our own money. And last year we bought 15 new doors, all using the bank's money on credit cards and business lines of credit. Let me show you how to do that. Let me show you how to buy a house with a credit card. Okay? Let us show you those strategies. I don't have a business that's 2 years old. You don't have to be 2 years old. You don't have to be. That's only to get a business line of credit. You do not have to be 2 years old. All right? I'm currently on your credit repair program. It's great. Appreciate that. Thank you. Why is it not good to apply for new credit cards while going through credit repair? Because if your credit is not in position, you're getting a bunch of inquiries and getting denials. Hence, your scores are dropping even more. Do they start at 0% interest? It doesn't matter what the interest rate is. In most banks that offer 0% interest, that's usually an introductory rate. I don't care if the interest rate on a credit card is 20%. I'm not paying the minimum payment on that forever. Remember, the credit cards and the credit lines are just a means of leverage for me to use the capital short term. But again, you won't learn those strategies if you're not in our Easy Funding program. Who is the guy? He's good. I'm not sure what that means. King Frank, what's up with you, man? Yo, I want to give a shout out to King Frank out there in Pittsburgh. This King, he been doing this thing. I mean, he supports everything. I mean, I think he done probably bought about 100 books from me just over the past 12, 18 months. And he buys the books and he gives them out to his community. See, that King right there, he's building up his credit partners. He's getting them positioned by giving them the knowledge. So definitely, King Frank, I want to salute you. This King, he drives all over the country and come out and support us. So definitely we appreciate that, King. Can you still get a business line of credit if the business isn't 2 years old? You can't get a business line of credit, but you can get business credit cards. But we we're worrying about the wrong thing. How much is Easy Funding? I'm not sure right now. I think it's $1,000, which is cheap. I told somebody that the other day and they was like, that's it? Because there's companies out there charging you $3,500 just to get gas cards. So does coaching come with Easy Funding? We offer mentorship. If you want one-on-one coaching, that's something completely separate. Does all three bureaus have to be a 680? Yes. I purchased your book for my kids. Thank you. One lovely lady. Thank you. King Frank be on the coaching calls every time. Man, I think King Frank done even had to hold the call down for me once. I was on a flight, and he knows because he's been plugged in. And so he was able to actually hold the call down for me. So I appreciate you, King Frank. I owe you lunch, King. When are books expected to be delivered? They were pre-orders. All right. So hopefully the book, I'm working on having it completed by the end of September. Let me get that hat. This is my guy, King Carlos, out of Las Vegas. Caps by Cap. Send me a message and I'll link you with him. Go and support that good brother who also is using his easy funding to grow his hat business. So no matter what your industry is, the easy funding is going to fund it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. What's the name of your book? Credit is King. What is your IG? Mr. Will Roundtree is my IG. Ever thought about translating info into Spanish? Yes, I've been looking for somebody. If you speak Spanish, Inspire Reyes, please hit me up. I need somebody that can assist me with that. Do you have any tips on freezing your Sage Stream report? Also, how do you feel about Innovis as the fourth credit bureau out there? Nobody's using Innovis, so I don't even care about them. And freezing your Sage Stream, that's mainly only where your inquiries are going to be at. But you know, you can dispute your inquiries, so those are things that become a moot point. Somebody who speaks Spanish who wants to assist me with the project in converting my book Credit is King to Spanish, please send me a message. What are the criteria to getting $80,000 in funding? Signing up for easy funding. How much for everything in total with credit and mentorship, King? Robert, send me a message and I can connect you with our team and they can talk to you about that. Do your guys do 100% financing on dump trucks for new companies? If you fall within a footprint, yes, I have a bank that does 100% financing on trucks. But you got to be in our easy funding program to get access to the information. I think just last month alone, I had over 27 people get financed for their trucks. So they were able to save the down payment that it would have cost them out of pocket. It was less for them to get easy funding and get access to our resources than it was for that. All right. I speak Spanish. Yeah, if you speak Spanish, please send me a message. I need somebody that could assist me. All right. What else we got? Y'all light on the questions today. Is 680 based off of Mortgage 3 Bureau FICO scores? Is 680 across the board? Remember, 680 is just the minimum. 680 is fair credit. You still have to have the other things in play in order to qualify to get your business funded. And again, remember, if you get easy funding over the next 24 hours, I'll do a game plan call with you. All right. What would stop you from getting funded? By not going through the process. Now, granted, it may not happen right away for everybody, but I tell people, even if it took you 2 years, why would it matter? Why would it matter? Because if you're on a current plan you're on now, you're going to be in the same position in 2 years. But the only thing that really could stop somebody is if their credit is not in position. But we work with you to get your credit in position. What does it take to get you as a mentor? Cold talk. Reach out to me and I'll get you with my team. What about student loans in default on the credit? We dispute student loans. Again, if you've been following me, we dispute student loans all the time. Just had a queen out of Atlanta who had been trying to get her student loans off for years and came back and we got every last one of them off. She thought we sent her a fake credit report. And I'm like, no, that came directly from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Those have been removed. And so as long as she keeps her payments up, they won't report negatively again. Okay. I just sent my invoice to be your mentee. Looking forward to working with you. Thank you. Good information. I'm all ears. Appreciate that. All right. King Will, would I have to get easy funding for credit business? Would I have to get easy funding for each business I set up? I do recommend it, but let's get one of them funded first and then use the funding to pay for the other ones. Now it's a tax write-off. Because again, guess what? When you're in easy funding, we're going to give you access to our tax specialists. Having a tax specialist is very important. You know, imagine if your company made over $1 million in revenue. If you don't have a tax specialist, you're going to be paying Uncle Sam back probably about $250,000 of that. But when you have a great tax specialist, guess what? You're paying back about $15,000 of that. You know, so understanding that having access to information is vitally important. How much monthly for easy funding? There's no monthly, Queen. This info is gold. Thank you. I appreciate that. Safe_Jones. How can I get you to repair my credit? Reach out to us. Send me a message and I will have my team reach out to you. You know what? I might even do I might do one on credit. I mean, on tax strategies. I'm telling you, if you don't have a good tax strategy and you're a business owner, you must plan on never growing or not making any real money in your business. See, one of the things I've learned in business is I started positioning myself because I knew what my capability is. I knew what my potential was. And so if you're not investing in your business for growth, you will never get there. And so that's why I tell people we got to stop trying to cut corners. All right. Thank you for the information. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I have made $12K this year from my lawn care business, and it's my first year in business. Salute. That's dope. I know a lot of people who don't make any money their first year. And so take that $12,000 and reinvest it and level up. All right. I've been trying to work on my credit. Where do I go from here? McQueen Robinson. It depends on what your end goals are. You may want to reach out to us and get a credit analysis from us. Do you guys teach tax preparation as well? It's something I'm working on. I'm actually about to invest in a service bureau company, which will be doing a lot in the tax space. So anybody who wants more information about that, drop me a message. And I'm telling you, the tax, it's two things we need to learn in life. Obviously, our RBCs, real estate, business, and credit. But the two fundamental things, Milwaukee, stand up, absolutely. The two things that is imperative that we know are credit and taxes. I'm telling you, you learn the credit game and the tax game, you'll always be able to make money. No, I'm not with Jumpin' Jack Tax, but definitely I love what they're doing over there. Definitely love what they're doing. How do we send you a message? You can send me a direct message here on Facebook or just comment in the post, and I can have somebody reach out to you. You can purchase Leverage Everything merch. Yes, make sure y'all go out and purchase Leverage Everything merch. We about to get that going. The site is up. My brother King Paul just posted it in the chat. Leverage Everything. How to increase your credit score. Depends where your credit is at. What's your Facebook? Mr. Will Roundtree. All right. Major keys, tax strategies. Absolutely. I'm telling you, you got to learn them tax strategies. See, wealthy people know this stuff. See, we shouldn't have to convince each other why we got to learn about credit and taxes. Again, if you don't want to learn about those things, then we plan on never being able to have wealth, but you got to know those things. How much per inquiry taken off? We normally charge an average about $30 per inquiry per bureau. I know people that charge as much as $100 per inquiry and don't even get them off. I just had 3 people last week contact me who said they paid some company $8,000 for credit repair and inquiry removal, and they still have not gotten any results. All right. I brought your ebook, shared it with my bros. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Can I buy a house as an owner occupied through Easy Funding? Not if you're going to go through FHA. So no, but we have strategies to help you with that. So make sure that you reach out to us. I'm in the RBC's top tier student and I need your assistance. DJ K Tony, reach out to me. All right. Reach out to me. All right. Who else we got? The Fit Artist. What's going on? AK, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm telling you. I think I still got the email. They pay $8,000 for credit repair and for inquiry removal. And when people come to me and they complain about $500 to $750, I don't even want to work with them. I'm like, okay, all right, good luck. All right. Appreciate you, King. After Easy Funding, one-on-one coaching, real estate portfolio building, much respect. Thank you, King Tyrone. Appreciate you, King. All right. Do you respond to your inbox? Yes. I don't respond when it's a super long message, though. And remember, I get a lot of DMs. And now I'm going to be honest, if I'm getting a bunch of messages and they're like, can I get 30 minutes of your time? You have to book a consultation. Remember, we have to start investing in ourselves. All right. Do you prefer a multifamily with a tenant for first time if you have a small children? Good question. I'm going to look for the best deal that's going to be beneficial for my situation or my geography. Like out here in Nevada, we don't have multifamily, so I had to buy a single family home as my first property. Now, if I lived in a market where there were multifamilies, yes, I would buy a multifamily property and be able to leverage the income so I don't have to pay rent or mortgage or as little mortgage as possible. All right. I tried to dispute a collection that was taken off of one of the bureaus, but it is stubborn on the other. Can you help me take it off? Yes, send me a message. Everyone should have a mindset like you. Well, I mean, I still work on mine every day, but I definitely appreciate that, Inspire Reyes. But we just got to start believing in ourselves and that we can do it. You know, a lot of us talk ourselves out of being successful because we don't think we can do it. You know, I just remember I have over 15 years of failure. You know, that's the only difference between me and a lot of people. I've went through the grind. I've been in the muds for 15 years. So I have over 15 years of failure. I just have a longer track record of failure than most. You know, I just have a bunch of short wins. And that's what I like to consider it, is we definitely got to go out there and get our hands dirty. When fixing your credit, should you still use it? Depends on where your credit is. If your credit is in the 500s, no, because you're going to get high interest rates. You know, you're going to get high interest rates. Just spoke to a client who didn't want to fix his credit, went out and bought a vehicle, and the interest rate was 29%. Couldn't afford to pay me, got it repoed, 2 months later. I'm like, and then had to put down 20% on the vehicle. I'm like, what you put down on that vehicle was less than what it cost you to fix your credit. You could have got your credit fixed, bought a brand new vehicle, put zero money down, and your payments would have been less. That's game if y'all caught that. Is easy funding through credit cards only? No, there's all different type of strategies. But if your company is brand new, the credit cards is the easiest route. Plus, when people be like, well, I don't like credit cards. And I'm like, that's because you're looking at it from a consumer. When I get a credit card, I'm looking at it, okay, what asset can I go buy? I'm not looking at it as a consumer to be able to go to Dubai or Turks and Caicos and all this. I'm looking at it from a business standpoint. All right. All right, family. Hold on. Hope my laptop don't die. All right. Credit rules the world. It really does. How much to enroll? I think right now, easy funding is $9.99. Does it make sense to have easy funding without being ready to invest? Absolutely. Because I'd rather have the credit and not need it than to need it and not have it. You know how many times I talk to people who say, man, I thought about signing up back then, but then I didn't. And now a deal just smacked me in the face and I'm not even ready because I don't have any money. What can you do for me in the next 35 days? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. It's a process. If somebody could build me a house in 30 days, I don't want to live in that house. It's a process, okay? All right, let me see. No other fees. There's a 10% back end fee. 10% if you go through us. The industry standard is 12 to 22. All right. But again, the fees are menial. I'm telling you, it's the best investment that you could have made. Ask somebody like King Justice. Ask anybody who's been through the process. I'm telling you. Is easy funding the same as the JMA? Yes, easy funding. It's powered by my family over at JMA. How do I get an FHA loan? What are the qualifications? Contact a lender, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get qualified. Joint credit report 2 months ago, and you guys have been doing everything you promised. Thanks for you and the team. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's 10%? Anything you get approved for on easy funding, there is a 10% back end fee. Just like if you go and you hire any type of broker, a broker charges what are called points. Again, this is things we got to start learning about. You pay points on everything, and it's in layman's terms, it's a convenience fee. It's a convenience fee, but I'd rather become a professional and hiring professionals because then I can go out there and focus and concentrate on what it is that I'm great at. I don't have time to go and try to change the car oil in my car. I'm not a mechanic, so when it comes to funding, I talked to somebody who thought they can go out there and do this on their own, and guess what? Went out there and got a bunch of credit inquiries. Now want to come back to us and have us do the inquiries on a discount. I'm like, no, it don't work like that. You do it right or do it twice, and that's what I tell people. All right. Can I use funding for the credit repair company you offer? Absolutely. Actually, just had a queen who purchased our credit repair program, which she used her funding that she got. She got about $350,000 of capital. Some of it was from a HELOC on her home, and she bought the credit repair program. So yes, that's what I'm telling you. There's really never a reason why we should go without, because guess what? You use the capital to go and invest it in vehicles to help you make more money, which is why I'm investing in a service bureau. I'm telling you, I'm looking for businesses to invest in. So hopefully somebody bring me something good. I got some money burning a hole in my bank. I got some money burning a hole in my credit cards. So bring us something nice. Is easy funding credit repair still $750? Yes. Black people got to stop looking for a discount. If it's discounted, it's probably don't want it. I agree. Code talk. I agree. I tell people we the Lamborghini, the Mercedes Benz, the Maybach, the Bugatti in the industry. So when people come to us looking for a discount, we don't give discounts. I'm sorry. We do not give discounts. All right. We don't go into Gucci, Louis, and in those stores asking for a discount. We go and spend the top dollar and then post it online and say, look what I bought. So no, like, we got to start investing in ourselves. I got you on that business idea. Appreciate that, King. Definitely. Yeah, reach out. I know we had dialogued a couple times. How do I build a real estate team for a syndication or equity fund? What specialist should I fish for? Well, that sounds like you definitely want to look into some coaching, but you got to have your main real estate A team are going to be, making sure you got some good realtors. You have, I like to work with, if you have some money guys, you maybe have some credit partners. Who's your circle of influence, or what does your networking skills look like? I always tell people no good deal will go unfunded. I hate when our people want discounts. I'm not going to say I hate it. Sometimes we just got to educate them. Unfortunately, sometimes we just have to educate them. How do I start rural development? It depends on what type of rural development you're talking about, like the areas you want to learn about zoning. And, you should be going to different town hall meetings, so you definitely want to start there. The price is heat price. I'm assuming you're saying the price is the price. Absolutely. Yeah, building homes. So it depends on if you're going. I would start with going to town hall meetings, finding out the zoning areas, the zoning qualifications, all of that. But, there's a lot of programs and there's a lot of banks that offer new construction loans with private banks and private money. All right. Am I too late to get started? You're never too late. Never, ever, ever too late. So where can I start to fix credit? Is there a website? Yes. King Justice, reach out to the queen and get her information so we can get her started. King, can you scroll up and read my question? TJ, why you just didn't ask the question in the comment? We got 3 minutes. I'm not going to be able to find it. See, that's a prime opportunity where we miss our shot. See, instead of saying scroll up, just send me the question, King. Come on, man. I want to definitely answer the question. Definitely want the coaching. Who should I speak to? You can contact 844-JOIN-JMA. 844-JOIN-JMA. I did twice already. Yeah, these questions are going fast, TJ. Again, you missed your shot. Instead of sending me that message, you could have just sent me the question, King. All right. If you sign up for JMA student for the $9.99 course in the credit building program is included, is the same correct? I think so. Reach out to the office and find out, Angie's World. One lovely lady, thank you. How long does it take? It would take to get funded on the average? It depends. Everybody is different. I have had people come over and got funded in a week, and I've had people it's taking them, they're still working on their credit. So everybody is completely different. Personal creditors repair, been waiting on primary trade lines, AUs to leverage, pay for easy funding, anxiously waiting. What should I do? We got to keep waiting, King Tony. We got to keep waiting. Patience is a virtue. Thank you. Thank you for your team has changed my life. Appreciate that. Thank you. Just ask again. Yeah, you wasted 2 opportunities telling me to look at the question. It's a lot of people in the chat, King. All right. Can I refinance more than one mortgage? Yes, you can, because you can refinance an investment property. All right. So, family, I appreciate that. I'm getting the ticker and the timer, letting me know that Instagram is only giving me an hour. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this IG. I'm really, want to try to do my best to get you guys as much information, make everything as insightful as possible. Safe Jones, yes, I do this every single Friday. Make sure you go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. At Mr. Will Roundtree, where I do upload most of these to my personal YouTube page, because I want to make sure that we are getting this information and everybody has access to get this information today on Friday the 13th. Absolutely. Peace and love, y'all. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm already a JMA student. Is easy funding an extra $9.99? Yes, it is. It is extra $9.99, which is something, if it's a perfect investment, See if you can have your boo buy that for you for your birthday. All right, that's what I would do. All right, family. So I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all. I'll see y'all next week again. I will be back for Q&A Wednesdays, every single Wednesday right here on Instagram. And I will talk to y'all soon. Make sure y'all go register and subscribe to the YouTube so we can get this up. Gotta get them numbers up, family. All right, peace.